You're looking for a drive that you can actually trust to sit on your desk or slip into a laptop bag, one that won't throw a fit after a few gigs of data and that feels worth the cash you're spending. Maybe you've already tried a cheap external hard drive that started making clicky noises after a month, or a flash drive that just ran out of space when you were halfway through a video edit. The fear of buying the wrong storage solution is real, especially when the product page is filled with technical jargon and marketing buzzwords. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the Samsung T5 EVO 8TB actually brings to the table, and why it might or might not be the right fit for you. First off, the biggest draw here is the sheer amount of space in a form factor that still fits in the palm of your hand. 8 terabytes of solid-state storage in a device that's about the size of a credit card means you can keep an entire video editing library, a collection of high-resolution games, or a family photo archive without needing a separate desktop tower. For a freelance videographer, that's the difference between having to offload footage after each shoot and being able to shoot a full day's worth of 4K RAW files and keep them ready for color grading later. For a gamer, it's enough room to install several large titles plus all your saved games, mods, and screenshots, without juggling external drives. The compact convenience claim isn't just marketing fluff, it actually matters in day-to-day life. I've seen people try to cram a 2 terabytes HDD into a backpack and end up with a device that rattles around, increasing the chance of a sudden disconnect. The T5 EVO's solid aluminum body feels solid but stays lightweight, so you can toss it into a laptop sleeve or even a pocket when you're traveling between client sites. The USB-C connector is reversible, which cuts down on the little frustrations of trying to plug it in the wrong way during a quick coffee shop edit session. Speed is where the pick up the pace tagline meets reality. Samsung lists sequential reads up to 460 megabytes per second, which translates to moving a 50 gigabytes project file in roughly 2 minutes. In my own workflow, that means I can copy a full day of footage from a camera onto the SSD while the shoot is still wrapping up, instead of waiting for a slower HDD to finish in the background. The same speed helps gamers load large open-world maps faster than they would from a traditional hard drive, shaving off a few seconds that can feel significant when you're eager to jump back into the game. Now, let's talk about who should actually consider this drive. If you're a content creator who regularly works with 4K video, RAW photos, or large audio stems, the capacity alone makes the T5 EVO a practical solution. The speed means you can treat it as a primary working drive rather than a dump drive you only use for backup. It also suits anyone who needs a reliable backup that can survive being tossed around, students moving between dorms, traveling salespeople, or even a small office that wants a portable archive without investing in a NAS. On the flip side, if you're mainly looking for a cheap way to add a couple of extra gigabytes for occasional document storage, this isn't the best value proposition. The price per gigabyte on a high-capacity SSD like this is still significantly higher than a traditional external HDD, so for pure archival of files you never touch again, a bulk HDD might make more sense. Also, the T5 EVO uses USB 3.2 Gen 1, the same as USB 3.0, which caps at 5 gigabits per second. If your computer has a USB 3.2 Gen 2 or Thunderbolt port, you won't be able to take advantage of those faster lanes without a separate adapter, meaning you won't see the top-end speeds you'd expect from newer SSDs that support those protocols. Practical weaknesses appear when you look beyond the headline specs. The drive doesn't include a built-in hardware encryption chip, so if you need enterprise-grade security for client data, you'll have to rely on third-party software. The lack of a detachable cable is a minor inconvenience for people who like to keep their cable separate to avoid wear and tear. The cable is permanently attached, which means if it frays you have to replace the whole unit. Lastly, the 8 terabytes model can be a bit of a heavy lift for budget-conscious users. Some competitors offer a 4 terabytes version for a fraction of the price, which might be enough for many creators who can also use cloud storage for the overflow. Real-world use cases help illustrate the trade-offs. Imagine you're on a road trip documenting a music festival. You have a mirrorless camera shooting 6K video, and you need to offload the footage every few hours to avoid filling the camera's internal memory. Plugging the T5 EVO into a laptop with a single USB-C port, you can transfer 100 gigabytes of footage in under 5 minutes, then keep shooting without worrying.